And hello everyone, welcome to this video of ASP.NET Core. We're going to continue where we left off, where we are trying to make a MariaDb server version kind of a thing. So an object, and just want to we are using some this as a reference, the Pomelo entity framework called GitHub, as well as this CSharpCorner article. Alright. Hey, you notice here, I actually forgot to mention something. If you notice here, that this thing here is a string that contains all the connection data. For example, what is the server name? Okay, what is the database to use? What's the username and what's the password? Okay, all of this is known as a connection string. Okay, this is known as a connection string, and whereas just now for the dbContextOptionsBuilder, the UseMySql actually has a construct. This UseMySql method actually takes in the server version object. Okay, but as you see over here, not only do you have a server version object here under here, the MySQL option server version, you will also have a connection string right here. This is a connection string because it's literally a string. It tells you how to connect to your MariaDb database. And so where do we go for? Where can we find a method? Okay, a method that also gives a connection string. As you can see, the version of the method here, it doesn't have that. So if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll notice that the UseMySql constructor over here, or no, UseMySql method here has an overload. Okay, has a version of itself, an overload that takes in both a connection string and a server version object. So this is the version of UseMySql that is being used right here in this C# thing. So we will use this constructor as well. We will need to define a connection string, and we will also need to define a server version object. So let's just continue where we left off and try to get our server version first. Okay, so our server version object, how do we define it? Okay. If we take a look at the MariaDb server version, okay, we will see this MariaDb server version. Okay, we will have several ways that we can actually construct this MariaDb server version. So the class name is MariaDbServerVersion, but the constructors are here. MariaDbServerVersion can actually take in a version. It can actually take in a version object. Okay, that's one. Second, it can take in this version string. Okay, and thirdly, we can also take in another server version object of some sort. Okay, so we'll need to look for this version object right here. Okay. And then you can see they also use this the base keyword, but we won't bother dealing with that. We only need to give in the server version object. So let's look for a server version. Version class. Okay. Of course, if you look at this, it will be endless because there are so many places the word version is used. So I rather have maybe class version. Okay, and let me fast forward it for you so that you don't see me looking through this search page. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to look for the version objects, but over here we have an example of how a version object is being declared and used. Okay, so you can see a new version object, then you have 3 numbers to it, 10, 4, and 6. How do you know what version your MariaDb server is? Okay, so if you go to MariaDb, you should open up MariaDb. There are 2 ways of looking. Firstly is that if you sudo MariaDb, you can see that the server version is right there, staring in front of you, 10.7.3. Or if you want to look for it again, you can just type the status keyword. Okay, if you look at the status keyword, you will see MariaDb version 15.1, distribution 10.7.3 MariaDb. Okay, so the version you're looking for is 10.7.3. Make sure to use the status keyword in your MariaDb. Okay, so the version object is very simple to make. Okay, it should not be overcomplicated. You don't need to look for source code. Just just look at the way they are being used here, and you just put it into the what do you call it? You just put it into the code. Yeah. Okay. So let's put it in. Okay. Okay. New MariaDB server version, and let me make a version object. Let's make a version object for the MariaDB server version object. Okay, so the way I declare it is here, version MariaDB version. Okay. Yeah, MariaDB version. Okay, there are a lot of version objects over here. Maybe I'll just call it version, yeah, just to avoid confusion. Or maybe it'll generate more confusion. But I'm going to follow the syntax. I'm going to follow the syntax that we find in our MariaDB. What do you call that? We're going to follow this syntax. Okay. So it's confusing, but I will just keep the syntax consistent. Version is you'll declare a version variable. You'll say that this version equals to new version. And then I will put the input parameters here. What are the input parameters? Okay, input parameters 10.7.3. Okay, so 10 comma 7 comma and 3. Right. So if you take a look at this at the MariaDB server version, you will also see a new version object being declared right here. Okay, so from this you can sort of copy and paste, and you'll see that MariaDB server version is 10.7.3. Okay, so and this is like the latest supported server version, 10.7.3, 10.5.5. Oh, okay. I hope it works anyhow, but yeah, it worked for my case. So yeah. Anyway, the version what happened here was that it says here that the latest supported server version is 10.5.5. The server version of MariaDB I'm using right now is 10.7.3 because I use an ArchLinux based MariaDB because I'm using Manjaro. But I tried using this server version thing as well, and yeah, it's completely fine. Okay, so I'm making a version object. And I'm going to fit this object into the MariaDB server version right here. Okay, and done. Right. Next thing we need to do. Okay, I think the page should load now. Yeah, the page should load now because there are no compile errors. Okay, compile errors are the errors that you see during this .NET watch. Okay, so the thing is supposed to compile everything into a DLL of some sort. Okay, so you have everything compiled into a DLL of some sort. So that's the compiled thing. But I won't go into those details now. I think it might confuse you even more. Okay. Alright. So remember, over here we are actually using one overload of the UseMySql. We can resend. Yeah, we are using this version of UseMySql where I feed in the connection string first, and then I actually fit in the server version over here. Okay, as you can see, this is the sort of overload we are using. We are using the context option builder. We need to feed in a connection string, and we need to feed in a server version. Okay, so all of this is just to build this dbContextOptionsBuilder. We have not even started using dbContext yet. We still need to configure it. Okay, so I mean no choice. We'll need to have a connection string now. So let's open up private string connection string. Okay, and I'll do a get set. Okay, where do I define it? I will have to put it inside the constructor. Okay, I also define a connection string here. Okay, and what's inside the connection string? If you take a look here, I will have a certain server, a certain database, a certain username, and a certain password. Okay, this is the information that I was talking about that you need to fit into the MariaDbServerVersion or the dbContextOptionsBuilder in order to connect to the MariaDb. Okay, so how do we specify which username, which password, and all that? Okay, so what I'm going to do for us now is to really create a new user, and I'll grant some privileges to this user, and I will use this new user to put inside this connection string here. Okay, so let's design our connection string first. Okay, first thing first, what server do you want to use? Okay, what server do you want to use? Okay, the server we are using here, okay, it is usually the root. Well, our current user, if we use a sudo MariaDb, it will be root at localhost. So this root user is the current user we are at. All right, current user we are at. Okay, so localhost will be the server that we are using. So I'm just going to copy, or rather I'll do the connection string one at a time. So let's have a connection string. Okay, connection string equals to, I'm going to put a string here and a semicolon at the back. So what's the first thing? Server equals localhost. Okay, server equals localhost means to say, yeah, we are hosting our MariaDb server on localhost. If you have a custom IP address, use that custom IP address. Otherwise, just use localhost. That's the simplest IP address. Okay, because this is a domain name that will point to an IP address of your local computer, also known as the loopback address. But if you're not sure about this, don't worry, just use localhost. Okay. So if you want more advanced stuff, do it next time. You'll just deal with the basic ones in this video. Okay, so server is localhost. Okay, next thing you need to know is, okay, what database do you use? Okay, the database they provide here is the ASP MariaDb config, but I'm going to use a different database name. Okay, database equals to, okay, what's my database? I will call it component database. Okay, this will be component database. So that's the second item in the connection string. Third and fourth item are username and password. So okay, remember always for connection strings I need to put semicolons there. This is in JSON format where you have to put semicolons after all your connection strings, JSON format. But don't worry about JSON format, just remember put semicolons there. If not, you'll get errors. Okay, what is the username? Okay, I will put the user equals to MariaDb user. Okay, very unimaginative name. And then password. Okay, you can make your own password here. Equals to my password. Okay, not very secure, of course, but since you're only dealing with localhost, doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to make a user called MariaDb user, and the password is my password, and I'm going to grant it all the privileges to this component database. Now this component database has not been made yet in MariaDb server, so if you want to do show databases, okay, you will not have the MariaDb server made yet, but don't worry, you just follow these instructions and it should be fine. Okay, so according to the ArchLinux MariaDb, if you want to make a new user, okay, you need to be on the root at localhost account when you start this MariaDb interface, and then okay, just follow the instructions. Over here it says create user, and of course I actually discussed this before. I discussed this before in not this video right here. Okay, I already gave you all the instructions there. So we will we'll just follow. You can watch this video again, or you can just follow the video that I'm doing now, right? So let's create a user. Create user, and what's the user name I given myself? MariaDb user. Okay, MariaDb user. Okay, make sure the cases match and everything, or else you can just copy and paste. Okay, create user MariaDb user at where? At localhost. Okay, see, just follow this format. Whatever username at whatever server, and then the password before typing your password, you need to type in identified by, and then put your password here. Password here will be my password. Okay, so in order to make sure that your user and password are consistent, just oh my goodness, I use English, but anyway, use the MariaDb user. Make sure your MariaDb user is over here, and your password also matches. All of this needs to match. Also the server needs to match as well with this server that you are putting here. Once you check everything is fine, just click enter and you should be fine. And if you want to check your users, if it's okay, so you can type in this command: select user from MySQL.users. Okay, if I'm not wrong, I can't remember. Let me take a look again. Select user from MySQL.user. Okay, you can see I have MariaDb user, MariaDb.sys, MySQL root and test user. So we made a new user for ourselves. And then how do we grant the user the privileges to interact with the database? Okay, our database here is called component database. So to grant these privileges, okay, I will just copy and paste, right? Copy and paste it here. Grant all privileges on what's the database name? The database name is component database. So let's look for component database. Component database .star. Why am I putting a .star here? The .star here means that I will be able to edit or delete anything. I have all privileges on all tables, all the database table under this component database. Okay, and then we are granting all privileges on component database, all the tables within component database, to which user? Okay, we'll call this MariaDb user at localhost. Okay, MariaDB user at localhost. Press enter, and then it should be okay. Okay, once you're done, you confirm that you want to and if you confirm that you want to grant these privileges to the user, you can type this keyword flush privileges. Okay, and then you just type exit. Okay, we can do sudo MariaDB just to confirm what we have done. We can show databases. Okay, you'll see that MySQL is here. Okay, show users from select star from MySQL.user. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say select star, that's too much info. Select users. Okay, select user. Alright, select user from MySQL.user. Yeah, you should be able to check everything here. Okay, you can even do this: select user server from MySQL. Host. Yeah, select user host from MySQL user. Okay, you will see that MariaDB user should be on localhost. In fact, every of this is all at localhost. Okay, so you gotta make sure that the host and the user are correct. Yeah, so I'll not look at the password column obviously, but yeah, this should make sure that MariaDB is able to connect using this connection string, because now I have a proper server. I have a user right here, I have a password right here. All of this is configured properly, and I also make sure to grant all privileges to this specific user on this database. So that's what I've just done. So connection string is being done, and then I can say that yes, just to be sure, I want to make sure that the connection string I am editing is this connection string right here. So I will type this keyword, and the options builder use MySQL should have inside here this dot connection string, and then this dot version. So this is what should be fed into the UseMySql, and everything is fine. Okay, so now we have successfully configured our app dbContext custom object. Okay, next thing is to replace this list here with a db set. But I think I want to take a break. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. I'm talking a lot, and I haven't. Yeah, I just want to take a break. So I'll see you in the next video. Of course, let's quit everything. Git add dot git status. Let's see anything else I need to add. Nope. So I'll do git commit. And then the commit will be what do you call that? Configured MariaDb server using on configuring pending test. Okay, and that's all for this video. Hope this was useful. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.